Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be going through the top 15 rankings of the UFC middleweight division, matching them up against Dricus du Plessis, and ranking them from free title defense all the way to and new, that being our substitution for S tier. Basically what I'm saying there is they're probably going to win. Like stylistically, they're probably going to beat Dricus here. And everybody else in between. Now, I'm going to say this right now. I'm not going to be doing the entirety of the top 15 because the fact is, then we're going to be looking at Paul Craig. And as much as I love Paul Craig is not in a championship argument. But at the same time, I can't include Khamzat, who's not even ranked in the top 10, and not include Brennan Allen, who is ranked in the top 6. Yep, we are in a world where Brennan Allen is closer to getting a title shot than Khamzat Chimaev, if rankings matter. And honestly, at this point in time, I'm not even sure if it does. With that out of the way, let's get to the video, and thank you guys for watching. Number one, let's start off with Khamzat Chimaev. Okay. Dricus du Plessis, I hear, was offered Khamzat for UFC 300, but Dricus just turned down fighting on UFC 300 altogether. We can kind of make that inference from the Theo Von podcast. Israel said that he was going to fight on UFC 300 and Dricus ghosted him. So I'm just going to say it. Dricus is probably going to want to fight on UFC Africa, and he turned down UFC 300. It is what it is. We get Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. But now, let's talk about who he's probably going to be fighting. Khamzat Chimaev. I'm just going to say it right now. Dricus du Plessis probably has, like people that are in that championship picture, has the best chance overall of beating Khamzat Chimaev. Now, I'm not saying that, like, Khamzat Chimaev is this crazy juggernaut of a human being, and he's going to become the GOAT like we all said he was going to be, and he's going to go back down the welterweight to become champion. Like, none of that crazy stuff that we all were sipping the Kool-Aid at 2 years ago. No. Stylistically, Khamzat Chimaev is probably going to beat Israel Adesanya. He just is. Khamzat is a big dude. Israel is not that big for 185 when compared to other contenders. And Khamzat Chimaev's grappling is really good against somebody like Israel. Now, if we're looking at Dricus is probably going to beat Khamzat Chimaev. I would actually put Khamzat Chimaev in our medium difficulty right above easy. Purely because the one thing that Khamzat Chimaev has going on for him is Khamzat Chimaev has a way better pace in the first round and arguably the second. But when we're getting to the third, fourth, and fifth, Dricus du Plessis is going to absolutely mollywop this man. Like, if you're getting outstruck by Kamaru Usman on 11 days' notice in the third round, Dricus du Plessis is going to destroy you in the fourth and fifth. I would predict Dricus du Plessis either wins by TKO in the fourth or fifth round, or wins by a fairly comfortable decision. If Khamzat Chimaev wins, he's winning by a first round TKO or submission. That is basically it. But yeah, there you go. I'm going to put him in medium. Marvin Vettori. I'm going to be honest with you. Marvin Vettori, outside of a great chin, I think Dricus du Plessis would be able to win a fairly decisive unanimous decision. I don't think he would finish the guy. But I think it would be very similar to a Robert Whittaker fight. I'm probably going to put him lower than medium, because I genuinely don't see, outside of a crazy counter on Marvin Vettori's part, which he's not really known for, but he does have decent power. But again, so does Dricus, and Dricus has a weird striking style. That's the only way I can see Vettori winning, where I can see actually, I'm going to put Marvin Vettori in easy. I know, I probably shouldn't have named it easy. Yeah, no, I'm going to keep it as named easy. Purely because I don't see how Marvin Vettori would win. Now, it's not a free title defense. It's a semi-difficult fight, but at the same time, very much a C-tier fight. Jared Cannonier. I might have to put Jared Cannonier as a tough. Jared Cannonier is an underdog. He's a dark horse of that division. The fact is he's just not that marketable. But he is a very difficult fight when he's healthy. I know he's having like problems with his Achilles right now, and I think that's one reason that's kept him out of that title picture. But the fact is he's still very much in it. He has a win over Sean Strickland before Dricus did it. And I know it was a close decision, but so was Dricus versus Strickland. Dricus versus Sean Strickland was as close of a decision as Jared Cannonier versus Sean Strickland. But I would argue Jared Cannonier had a better case to make that he won that fight than Dricus did. But that's just my personal opinion. You could disagree with me. But I would actually put Jared Cannonier as a tough fight, purely because Jared is not only tough as nails, but he has crazy power, dude. And I am curious to see what he looks like now, because the fact is he hasn't been fighting for that long. He hasn't been training martial arts for that long. I believe he's one of the few people that has finishes upon 3 different divisions, that being heavyweight, light heavyweight, and middleweight. And I think that type of power is going to be very difficult for somebody like Dricus. I will say I do believe Dricus would win, just because I believe Dricus, with that long amount of time that he has been training, has a better fight IQ and is a far more well-rounded fighter. But at the same time, Jared Cannonier has proven 5-round cardio. Has fought wars with Robert Whittaker, fought wars with Soren Strickland, beat up Marvin Vettori. So I'm going to say Jared Cannonier is probably going to be in our tough, yeah. I would be interested in that fight, but I don't think they're going to make it. Nasruddin Imavov, free title defense. Like, it's not that Nasruddin's bad, but I had to put him in here because he's also, I believe he, let me actually check. Is Nasruddin Imavov? Yup, Nasruddin Imavov is ahead of Khamzat Chimaev in the title picture. And I know it's in rankings, and I know somebody's going to say, well, Khamzat Chimaev's only 1 fight away. Well, if Khamzat Chimaev was a normal person that wasn't being given the craziest Dana White privilege I've ever seen, no, he would probably be 3 fights away from the title. But in reality is, they're probably going to have Khamzat fight Jared Cannonier, and if he beats Jared, he's in the title contention. So, Nasruddin Imavov has to be on here. But yeah, no, I actually think Khamzat Chimaev stands a way better chance of beating Dricus than Nasruddin. Because Nasruddin is like a less good Strickland. I would probably say Nasruddin is half as good as Soren Strickland is. And Dricus beat Strickland. Like, you see what I'm saying here? I know somebody's going to say, well, he didn't beat him. Strickland got robbed. We're done. Okay? Let's move on. Dricus did enough to win. Dricus would 100% do enough to beat Nasruddin. Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya has the best chance in that entire division of beating Dricus, and that's what I'm kind of worried about. And listen, I'm not even rooting for Israel to beat Dricus du Plessis, and I know people are going to say that, oh, well, you said Strickland was going to beat Dricus, and he didn't. Brother, I wanted Strickland to win, so there was an inherent bias there. I want Dricus to win against Israel. I think Israel wins purely because Israel's fought Robert Whittaker. Israel's fought Marvin Vettori. He's fought people that fight very similar to Dricus. He's near the same build. He's fought those people. He has defended his title against those people. I will say, I think Strickland, Israel, and Dricus is one of the most perfect examples of rock, paper, scissors in MMA. I think Strickland has the perfect style to beat somebody like Israel, but I do believe Israel Adesanya has a great style to beat Dricus, and Dricus has a good style to beat Strickland. It is what it is, bro. It's MMA algebra. I don't know what to tell you. MMA math is very rarely a real thing. MMA algebra? Kind of. I'm going to have to put him in and new. I think he stands the best chance. Alex Pereira. Admittedly, the only reason that I put Alex on here is because Alex has said that he wants to go down the middleweight one more time. And let's be real here, he's not going down to fight Israel. He is going down to fight Dricus. Alex Pereira has a beef with anybody who beats a training partner of his. He has beef with Jamal Hill because Jamal Hill beat Glover. He had beef with Israel because Israel beat Anderson Silva when Alex Pereira was in his corner. And now he has beef with Dricus because Dricus beat Soren Strickland. And if we're going to be going off that rap sheet, Alex Pereira would probably beat him. If we're going off a rap sheet here, he already beat Israel, and he's probably going to beat Jamal Hill. Let's be real here. I think it's close between them two, but I would actually lean towards Alex Pereira. For the sake of keeping the integrity, I'm not going to put him in and new, because the one thing that Dricus is going to have better than Alex Pereira is probably a chin. I have no clue how Alex Pereira can cut that weight. I will say this, 205, I'm not even entertaining Dricus winning. Honestly. Like, that would be probably one of the easiest picks I've ever done. Alex Pereira would destroy Dricus at 205. At 185, because of that weight cut, Dricus stands a fairly good chance just because he can drain Alex Pereira for longer. Just avoid standing with this man. I know somebody's going to say, well, Dricus du Plessis is unconventional. Alex Pereira is used to conventional. Brother, he KO'd Strickland in the first round. It took him like 2 minutes to get a good read on him. It might even be less than that. To get a read on him, and then just flatline KO'd the guy. He would do the same to Dricus if they did it at a healthy weight class. Brendan Allen, again, one of the only reasons that he's on this list is purely because Khamzat's on this list. Brendan Allen is closer to getting a title shot. I'm going to have to say probably an easy fight, honestly. Yeah, easy. Is he a free title? Nah, Nasruddin Imavov. I would actually favor Brendan Allen because Brendan Allen's a bit more well-rounded than Nasruddin is, but he's not as well-rounded as Marvin Vettori is. Yeah, no, I'll maintain that for now, but Brendan Allen could improve. He's also one of the few people to get finished by Strickland. Okay, like, I have to take that into account at some point. So I'm going to have to say easy fight above free title defense. I would like to see Brendan Allen improve a bit more before we throw him into that title picture. Sean Strickland. Tough fight. Because of how close it is, I would actually put him at the top of tough. Not and new, just because it would go either way. Not medium, purely because I don't know who benefits more from a rematch. I don't, because on one side, I would argue the biggest reason why Strickland lost against Dricus du Plessis is that his entire camp, he was preparing for a fighter that was going to have a good blitz, a good first and second round, but then was going to taper off as the fight went on. That's what we all thought. And then Dricus du Plessis shows off that he has legit 5-round cardio, and I think that took Strickland off guard. So on Strickland's side, he's going to be going into the second fight already having that, like, in his mind that, okay, Dricus has good 5-round cardio. I need to come in here with a different pace. But Dricus du Plessis was not connecting in the first and second round, and it wasn't until later in the fight where he was finding his placement. So Dricus du Plessis is going to be going into the second fight already knowing his shot placement, and is probably going to be doing a little bit better. But Strickland's going to be going into this fight with a better game plan and a better pace in mind. I think, I still don't know which one it leans to, and I would like to see this fight run back in the future for 5 rounds, please. Actually, if it's 3 rounds, I would actually favor Strickland even more, but I want it to be run in 5 rounds just so we can do it. But yeah, no, I'm going to put him at the top of tough. I can't put him in and new because he did lose. Okay? I just can't. Jack Hermansson, free title defense. Enough said. Paulo Costa. Medium. How many 5-round fights has Paulo Costa fought? Let me actually check that really quick. Off the top of my head, 1 maybe? I mean, when I mean by 5-round fight, I mean he actually went the distance. I know he did one against Israel. Okay. That was 3 rounds. Second round. Oh, has he ever? No, he hasn't. Okay. I'm still going to put him above Khamzat Chimaev because Khamzat Chimaev hasn't even fought a 5-round fight, let alone go the distance. And every time that Khamzat has gone the distance, it has gone badly. But I would favor Paulo Costa against somebody like Dricus du Plessis, even though Paulo Costa lost to Marvin Vettori. I know somebody's going to bring that up. Purely because Paulo Costa against Dricus du Plessis is a lot like Jared Cannonier against Dricus du Plessis, but Jared Cannonier has better cardio, and Paulo Costa has comparable power to Jared Cannonier. So Paulo Costa definitely has the ability to finish Dricus, but he's not as well-rounded as Dricus. And finally, Robert Whittaker. I'm going to put him at the top of medium, and I think that's going to conclude it. I think top of medium is very fair for Robert Whittaker. I know he got finished by Dricus, and the reason that he's not going in easy is Come on. He is a tougher fight than Paulo Costa for Dricus du Plessis. He's a tougher fight than Khamzat Chimaev. And he's a tougher fight than Marvin Vettori. I do believe if you ran that back 10 times, there is probably 4 out of 10 times Robert Whittaker would beat Dricus. But the fact is, we're not fighting 10 times, and Dricus is going to win 60% of the time. I'm going to put him in medium. Like, there's a difference between winning 40% of the time and winning 50% of the time. That's where I would put here. And Israel Adesanya is going to be and new just because styles make fights, dude. I am telling you this right now. And I want Dricus to beat Israel. But I'm telling you this right now. The reason that Dricus du Plessis said no to fighting Israel Adesanya on UFC 300 is 2 reasons. One, he wants to bring Israel to Africa to expose him. That is 100% part of it. And 2, although he would never say it, there is definitely a concern in either his coaching or his management that if he loses to Israel Adesanya, somebody who could beat him, then we're never going to Africa. I'm like, let's be real here. That is what would happen. If Dricus du Plessis never got to defend the belt, never won a title defense, and loses to Israel Adesanya, the UFC is never going to Africa. And I do believe that's one reason the UFC hasn't gone out and tried to crucify Dricus in the media by saying no to Israel for UFC 300, even though they would like to, is because they understand, because they want to go to Africa. There's money there. Dricus is one of the few fighters that can sell a UFC Africa card. And for Dricus du Plessis to say, hey, I'm not going to fight on UFC 300. I want to fight Israel Adesanya in front of my people in Africa. I respect that. But at the same time, 100% there are discussions being had that, hey, if Dricus loses, we can't do Africa. So I'm actually in favor of Dricus saying no to 300 and going to Africa. I think that's a smart move on his part and his management. But there you go. That's my power rankings. I think I did pretty good. You tell me what you think in the comment section below. In what UFC champion should I do next? Preferably, I would like to do a UFC champion that hasn't gotten a title defense. So I would probably do... The next fighters I believe are in the running would be like an O'Malley, a Alex Pereira at light heavyweight, and maybe I would do a John Jones, but John Jones isn't going to be fighting more than one fight, let's be real. So it's between Sean O'Malley for bantamweight and Alex Pereira for light heavyweight. You tell me what you think in the comment section down below, and I'll look at it. Thank you guys for watching. It means the absolute most to me, and adios, guys.